Hey guys, welcome to the back channel. In this episode, we're going to talk about introductions. Introductions being one of the most important parts of fundraising. The way you use a connector to get you a warm vector into an investor, something that gives you credibility. Introductions are, like I say, the lifeblood of a great fundraise. But so many people overlook it. They sleep on it. They think it's actually super simple, doesn't take a lot of effort, isn't a big deal. When in actuality, there's a lot of effort that goes into a great introduction, and thus a lot of effort that goes into a great introduction request. What people don't realize is that a simple introduction is not just one short email that you can blast off. It's a number of efforts, both for the person asking for an introduction as well as the person giving the introduction. If you think about an introduction, there are a number of small emails that need to be written in order to get that done. You need to go ask the person if they would make the introduction. The person that is going to make the introduction, if they're doing it politely, will go ask the actual target in the double opt-in request, are you okay getting this introduction? Then the email that gets sent to actually connect you with the investor, that's another email. And then the reply and so many other pieces of communication that go through just one simple introduction. And so once you realize that a lot goes into an introduction, you then can start understanding how important it is to do the introduction request well. Now, the one thing I wanted to talk about was the mistake that most people make when it comes to requesting introductions and trying to make it easier for the connector. The thing that I'm referencing is something you might have heard of, which is called a forwardable email. It's essentially this email that you send to the connector to make it easier for them to ask whether or not the introduction is okay to the target. Now, a lot of times people think, oh, affordable email, make it easier for me to make the intro request. And they think, oh, I'm going to send this email to the connector that says, okay, let me give you a blurb. Let me give you language that you can use to ask whether or not it's okay to make the introduction. Let me write it in your voice. Let me construct it so that maybe you can copy and paste it and send it to the investor that you're going to try to make the introduction for. All that effort that you've put into writing out an email for them to use, that's wasted effort because there's no way you're going to write that blurb in their voice exactly the way they would want to write it in a natural way. And this is an important relationship they have with the VC. So it's going to take a little bit of wordsmithing and it's going to have to sound like them. So not only will they have to rewrite the little blurb that you wrote anyways, you're going to make them write out a subject line. You're going to make them send the special email to this investor. When it comes to forwardable emails and actually making the introduction process easier, you explicitly want to write an email to your connector that they can just hit forward onto the investor that they're trying to make the introduction to and literally write 5 words that says, hey, read below. Are you cool if I make this introduction? If you're a startup trying to sell into enterprises, I'm sure you've been dreading getting some sort of certification like SOC 2 or HIPAA. I know I did when I ran my last startup, and it cost us a lot of important deals. Well, you're in luck because not only is there an awesome solution called Vanta that makes the process dead simple, but also funded listeners get $1,000 off their service just by going to vanta.com/funded. Check it out. That's what you're going for. You're trying to make it so easy that if they didn't want to put any more effort into asking for the introduction, they could just literally say, hey, read below. If they wanted to be nicer and lean into it and make it a little bit more likely that they accept the introduction, they could say, hey, I got this note from a founder that I really love. Read below. I think you'd really enjoy meeting her. But in order to do that well, you have to realize what that email looks like. It's written in a way that is like head faking the fact that you might be asking a connector for an introduction to a specific investor, and then it'll have a bunch of bullet points and small bits of information that are easy to read about you and the company. And again, it's written in a way where the connector can just hit forward, send it to the investor and say, read below. I have examples of intro request emails and forwardable emails on my website. I hope you go check it out because it's kind of hard to describe all of this just speaking aloud. and just listening to it on the pod. But hopefully you got the point. Introductions are incredibly important, not super easy to do, and make sure you get those forwardable emails correct. All right, that's this episode of the Back Channel. I'll see you next time.